And so it was that Igor eventually found his way to Krasnoznamoyne for the first time. He arrived on the back of a truck, and seeing the largely populated city, at least for the wasteland, he looked on in awe as he beheld sights and beauty that definitely did not make his computer lag out in despair. What is that lag? Might need to turn the graphics down. What is with that lag? Following this, he made his first port of call to a large building on the left, turning out to be a power plant. Such a thing, a rarity in such troubling times. There he would acquaint himself with the owner. A tired, sweaty man walks around the local coal power plant with a disgruntled facial expression. He looks at the machinery, sometimes at the huge furnace, sometimes at the large pile of coal near it, sometimes at different little gadgets and mechanisms that are all stationed all over the place. When he notices you, he nods in a greeting and wipes his forehead. They expect me to work in such an environment. Everything is falling apart, and there's no real supply of coal. I was about to ask, actually. I can't imagine there'd be too much industrial operations going on, considering the local area. I wonder whether that's coal. Buddy boy. Problems with the shipments of coal, buddy boy? What's wrong? See, since the old mine down east depleted, we got to get the coal from the north through Paragon. And I'm guessing you already know what kind of a place Paragon is. Because of that, we don't get shipments on time. Krasnoznamoyne blacks out constantly, and everyone blames me for that, since I'm the head of this here plant. A crap situation. Want some help? Maybe I can do pretty well for myself fixing the lights and that in the city. Yeah. Hey, maybe you could do something about our troubles. Someone needs to speak with the guy responsible for the coal shipments, who sits somewhere in the Chamber of Commerce bunker. I would do it myself, but I can't leave my post for even a minute. What should I talk to him about? Wow, goddamn, you pick your ass up and go talk to himself, you lazy grease monkey. That's harsh. He looks like he's at the end of his tether. What should I talk to him about? Well, just tell him to do something about the shipments to the power plant. We can't cope with the way they are now. Too slow and random. Okay. Where should I look for him? In the Chamber of Commerce bunker. No one can get inside that thing though, but you look like the type of guy who won't be stopped by that. The man you need to chat up is Alexander Sablin. Deal. I'll tell him about your ways. That's what I want to hear. Tell Sablin he needs to do something about Paragon. You're my only hope now. Wow, he sounds so enthusiastic. With the inflection I'm giving him anyway. Well, can you answer some of my questions now? Fine, so be it. What would you like to know? Heard any rumors? People say there are problems with the coal shipments from Paragon because of some feud they have back there. No matter what anyone does, they still continue the infighting. Now if they'd accept the rule of the Chamber of Commerce, nah, that would have been way worse. Too much plutocracy that way. So I thought he was going to take the piss there, you know. Oh yeah, I've sent some idiot to look after it, but he's just asking me questions. Okay, that's a pain. Now I must go. My time is up. Foreboding. From the power plant, Igor decided his next port of call would undoubtedly be the bar. There, he would show off his stunning knowledge of flags and geography. What is that? Costa Rica? I'm fairly sure that's Costa Rica. Puerto Rico, I think. Probably. I'm terrible with American flags, I think. After which he would converse with the local drug. You see a strong, well-built man in his 50s. He staggers from side to side, hiccups and croaks. As he sees you, the drunk grins and opens his arms widely for an embrace. When he realizes you're not too keen for a hug, he calms down and answers with a smile. Ah, brother, vodka and cigarettes are giving me quite a hard time, but I'm still able to recognize a man who's come to help unsinkable Vystotsky the Navigator and some dough for a nice bottle. I'm always in two minds about this because if someone asks you to pay them, they're either like, oh yes, now this is what you get for your trouble, or these rubles. Or they're like, you know, good old oblivion beggars, and he'll just say, thank you, kind sir, and then leave. Take these 10 rubles. Have a good evening, navigator. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have an order. You didn't think, newbie, did you, that I was asking ours? That's to make up for any money. Like this. Look. The drunk I was hoping we'd get an animated thing. The drunk shifts his weight from one foot to another, claps his hands, waves his head, sways his hips, and makes scary faces. Here's 10 rubles, dance for me. Of course, no props. The navigator snatches the bill out of your hand and starts belching, whistling, staggering from one side to the other, bending alternatively his left and right legs and slapping himself on the chest and belly without much ribbon. La 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 la. Go on, balaika. Okay, this is kind of harsh. I mean, he doesn't sound like a bad dancer from what I'm hearing. Here's another 10. Great job. You're a good dancer. Go on. Your words encourage the dancer. The navigator claps his hands and starts tap dancing right in the sand. It's proper rhythmic tap dancing. The drunk concludes his performance, breathes out loudly and bows. Wow, matey, you saw off my old paddles to do it, eh? I'll tell you a secret. Usually I don't dance, I just shake and wave my arms so people feel pity for me. But this, hey, I can really perform with this in front of people without being ashamed for myself. Ah, you see? That's what happens when you pay people 10 rubles or 20 rubles. They all of a sudden become expert dancers. You see, you've discovered your inner talent. Well done. Now, let's think about something else. Interesting looking people. Right. See a well-built, grey-haired man bending over maps, compasses, and rulers spread all over the desk. He seems to be sunk in thoughts. He knocks his knuckles against the surface of the table. Huh, wonder whether he's like a map maker or something. Oh, wow. That's a real command post. I hope I'm not disturbing. The man quickly raises his eyes at you. For a moment he looks irritated, but quickly composes himself and gives you a friendly smile, albeit a bit forced. He looks down at his maps again. No, I was absorbed in my work is all. Absorbed. Wrong word. He raises his head again, straightens his broad shoulders with visible pleasure, groans quietly as his numb neck makes a cracking sound. Ew, what can I do for you? Fun, isn't it? I was going to ask the same thing. I see. Interesting. How can you be of use to me? You tell me. I'll do my best. The man gives you a long look and finally shakes his head, uncertain. That's curious, he says. That's indeed quite unexpected, but perhaps there's a job you can help me with. Do you want me to put you in the picture? Of course. I love having my picture taken. So, an influential man has hired me to deal with the problem that Otradno is facing. At the moment, I'm looking for people who could do this job, but it turns out that those I'd like to see are involved and not too eager to respond to my call. What threat is Otradno facing exactly? At the moment, it's a big gang of slave owners who decided to take over the village and turn it into its central base in the wasteland. If they succeed, it won't just be the villagers who'll have it tough, it'll be all of us. I was wondering whether he'd talk about the bandits, but apparently not. Who's your employee, if you don't mind me asking? Why would I mind? On the contrary, he asked me to spread the word about it. It was Dan from the factory. That was unexpected. Denis Denisovich who hired me. Perhaps you've heard of him. He's sort of in charge over the village, so I assume he doesn't want any harm to go its way. But he's not sure his gang can cope. Jesus Christ. I can't... It's hard. Everyone's so grey. There's no black and white. Just... No. What threat is Otradno facing exactly? At the moment, it's a big gang of Yeah, but I already done that one. Never mind. What? So I need someone to gather all the men I need together, or perhaps even participate in the forthcoming operation himself. It'll be one hell of a clash, trust me on this. Who do you need? A professional team, Ludmila the Sniper, a trooper known as Major Pronin, and Konstantin Arkadovich Smirnov, a well-known saboteur. These three used to work together until they fell out and each went their own way. Now they can't stand the sight of each other. Such a pity. I'd never seen a better team. What will I get for this job? Good money and good loot. I always offer honest pay. Okay, I'll help bring about that reconciliation. Good. I know Ludmilla must now be at the filling station fortress, which belongs to the Krasnoznamonia militia. Rumor is that Pronin started working for Paragon and serves at the border guard fortress. I'm not sure about Smirnov. The last time anyone saw him was not too far from Otradno. I'll mark these places on your map if you haven't been there before. You hand over your map to the man, who makes some quick notes on it. There, pay them a visit. I don't believe all hope's lost. So you still have a chance to get our good old guys back together. Well, interesting. Quest galore. It is a hope though, to be fair. I'll try. Now, will you answer a couple of urgent questions for me? Ask away. Do you have any idea who's in control of the Wasteland? Look, the Krasnos Pneumonia Chamber of Commerce believes it controls all of the Wasteland, but it's far from being true. Who's in charge of the Wasteland then? De facto, Krasnos Pneumonia controls the shore, Paragon watches over the north, and the factory gang of Denis Denisovich, aka Dan, controls the lands in between. Tell me about Krasnos Pneumonia's Chamber of Commerce. A Chamber of Commerce was founded by former prominent party members, heads of big enterprises and bureaucrats of all kinds, the bravest and most cunning of them. Quite a while ago, in the post-war chaos, they were able to build up a team and take over all the cushy places on the shore. Now they've declared themselves to be the successors of the statehood, and the greatest power in the Waste. I have to admit they have indeed achieved quite a lot. They've restored the power plants and founded a TV channel. It's indeed something, but it's not enough just to call them the greatest power. And what's their relationship with the other groups? The Chamber of Commerce believes itself to be somewhat of a lord over other organizations, but don't think for a second that it means they're absolutely relaxed. Krasnos Pneumonia knows full well that the Wasteland exists solely thanks to a complex system of checks and balances. Tell me about Paragon. People are reluctant to talk about it now, but in the post-war time, the same people who now guard Paragon were ordinary river pirates. First, they'd robbed the merchants who drifted down the river. Then it occurred to them to make an agreement. Now they guard the Waste northern border as well as the big lake near Paragon. Paragon's controlled by merchants and guards. The former deal with financing and administrative issues. The latter are in charge of the military stuff. What's their relationship with other groups? For some reason, Paragon doesn't like Dan and his gang. Most likely they had some sort of fight when both were mere gangsters. Their relationships to the Chamber of Commerce are slightly better. They pay lip service to the Chamber and call themselves part of the Commonwealth, but in fact they're absolutely autonomous. And even if they ever ask for Krasnos Pneumonia's opinion on some matters, that's mostly for appearance's sake. Now tell me what you know about Dan and his people. Several years ago, he and his guys took over the old factory at the river. The next thing you know, they were also in control of all adjacent territories, including Otradno. Now they extort money from the local residents, and protect them if they can. I don't know that much about Dan himself. We did talk, but never on personal matters. However, I know the central area, which is under his control, is very important strategically. But both Paragon and the Chamber of Commerce had trouble taking over it, so Dan appeared at the right time. And what's their relationship with other groups? Dan bears some grudge to Paragon. It never turned into open confrontation, but they're not averse to dirty tricks against each other. His own gang acknowledges the Chamber of Commerce and considers it to be something of a senior power over them. But of course, should Krasnos Pneumonia weaken, Dan won't miss the chance to play his cards right. There's no loyalty between them. Who controls the East and West then? If we talk about the nearest Eastern and Western lands, no one does. Maybe some scattered groups, slave owners, drug syndicates, and other nice people. There's some real tension between them and the other local groups. Tell me a bit more about yourself. You can call me strategist. Let's make it clear from the beginning. We don't discuss each other. No hard feelings, but all this talk is not particularly interesting to me, and perhaps to you either. Well, it seems more people are going by titles than names nowadays. Him and the Minster. I see, let's turn to other issues. Are there any recent rumors? I heard one big atom squadron was seen in an old bunker to the north from here, but this is all I know. I'm sorry, but I can't give you any details. A pity. Okay, let's turn to other issues then. Alright, goodbye then. The man smoothed his silver hair, casts a quick look at the map in front of him and nods slowly. How much time do we have until the attack on Otradno? I can't give you an exact answer, but so far the slave owners have been busy with the feud between each other. Perhaps they're trying to decide which one of them will lead the attack. So I might have to act quickly, or relatively quickly. Right, it's time to go now. Well, the plot thickens. At least I learnt more about the interactions between the different groups. Jesus Christ! Is he wearing it? If that had happened a second sooner, that would have been amazing. Is he wearing a grenade as a chin strap? Or is it his lucky grenade? Jesus. Looks like he's got one as well in his hands. You see a well-built man sipping cold beer from a high, foggy glass. His slightly crazy smile and weird goggles imply he'll have a lot to tell. And judging by the ammunition belts that cross his chest alongside various harnesses and holsters, the conversation will have to be utterly polite, or it might become the last conversation in your life. Hi, youngster! Have you come to hear the stories, or just chit-chat? Ha! The man gives you a sudden close look and clicks his finger against a grenade amulet. But I strongly advise you against making me angry. This grenade's real, you know. I might use it if need be. And goodbye to everybody. Why are you covered in sweat all of a sudden? I was just joking. Yeah, I want to ask you a couple of questions. The man crosses his legs and leans back. The flimsy bench creaks under his weight. Ask. I love sharing my experience. I consider it an investment in the future. The more beginners I teach now, the fewer idiots I'll have to rescue from mutant beasts in the ruins later. What's your name, comrade? The man squeezes your hand tightly. They call me Patrick. Patrick the Psycho. And if you hear someone call me the White Wolf or the Mutant Hammer, just ignore it. Those are nicknames for myself from the past. Got you. Pleasure meeting you, Patrick. Another question. I'm listening. How do you earn your living? By others? The man opens his arms as if trying to embrace the wasteland. It might sound bad, but I feel I was meant for this world. For the apocalypse, that is. Before the war, I couldn't settle on one job, and after, I did well as a stalker. Worked as a mercenary, and even restored civilization in a certain area. There's a village called Patrick's Land. Paid a visit if you're over in the east. Ah, I can see you're a professional survivor. Another question. You said you weren't interested in ruins? Ruins, drains, bunkers, all the places where treasures of the old world are hidden have a special place in my heart. Until I raid them, then they somehow fade from my memory. You're a sly guy. Another question. Had any interest in rumors? Locals have told me a former apprentice of mine, Rivlin from Silesia, has gained glory and the best mutant hunter in the neighborhood. What can I say? I'm proud of him. I just wish he wouldn't have too many of his mutagens. It's named for vodka. Yes, he's already had this habit. He didn't even need good company to go on a binge. It's famous Rivlin. It's not supposed to be Geralt. Is the famous Rivlin is your apprentice? Wow, another question. Let's change the topic. Talking about your stories. The man moves closer to you, studies your face, and grins insanely. It's nice being in a place where no one knows about my adventures. I'm a whirlwind traveller, an adventurer back where I'm from, so everyone else has learned my stories by heart, and here I can always find a willing ear. All in all, I saw many wonders. I was able to leave my life every time. Leave with my life every time. I survived the atomic battery and Bazookan's gang, the Vertuka anomaly. Tell me about the atomic battery. Once, when I was a stalker, a rich scientist hired me to collect a full list of different artifacts for him in the wasteland. At first, I thought he was planning to assemble a computer with an unusual aerodynamic case. The penny dropped by the end. I was plotting to meet him when the spent uranium led in the case. His stock case was going to build a miniature nuclear bomb. I never turned up at the meeting. The Earth has suffered enough from these bombs. And Bazooka's gang? Far across the sea, in the southern lands, there was a named man Bazookan, a warrior and a religious leader. He gathered thousands of people around himself and converted them to his faith. He was planning to attack this part of the wasteland with his horde, but there's one weak spot in this religious book left, I presume, to make his teaching more plausible. If a man came who can kill an elk, a lion, and an exotic panda in a fistfight, Bazookan himself would have to bow to him, it said. Well, I put 2 horseshoes in my old boxing gloves and accepted the challenge. At the Bazookan's public execution, when the horde made me their leader, I ordered them to live in peace. I hope they obeyed. Oh god, I hope they obeyed. Tell me about the Vortuka anomaly. When I was young, I travelled to Vortuka. I still feel the cold when I think of it. To keep a long story short, I saw one of these super deep holes drilled in the Soviet times for some research. Do you understand what I'm talking about? A vertical shaft running 50 kilometers to the Earth's core. We had a fight with these guys who ran the local ironworks. Eventually they caught me and threw me down the shaft, to avenge half their gangland to perish from my hand. I remember the edge of that giant hole, blackness below, remember falling down, screaming at the top of my lungs, and then boom! I came into the taiga, alone, missing my left boot, 100 kilometers away from that spot. Was it teleportation? My guardian angel? Or an exotic mushroom dish I ate? It still puzzles me. Wow, okay, let's change the subject. Sorry, but I have to go now. Bye. Oh, that was, enlightening. I wonder whether the barkeep has any words for me. He does look like he has some words for me. Most of them 4 letters long. A strong man wearing a headpiece is standing in front of you. He's pensively stroking his small, neat beard and watching the visitors of his bar with attention. As he sees you, the man slightly nods. Saludo, welcome to my bar. My name is Fidel. How can I help you, amigo? Is Fidel your real name? The man smiles and shakes his head. Of course it isn't. My real name is, Adgir Galatov Iskandar Atyugan Abzaldinovich Jr. But you can just call me Fidel. I don't mind. Why is it Fidel exactly? I just dreamt of visiting Cuba since I was... Cuba! That's the flag. Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. Cuba since I was little. The Freedom Island, perhaps. You've heard of it? Well, due to the obvious reasons, the dream died 20 years ago, and the nickname stuck with me somehow. I see. Let's change the subject. What else would you like, amigo? Pardon me, say the password? I guess that's it. Adios. I'm gonna save before I do that. What password? Ah, that Fidel. He looks completely different from the picture I've got. He's done a good job with his appearance. Jesus, I can't believe I forgot about that. It's just been so long since I've left Otradna. You clear your throat and leaning close to Fidel whisper, treason is the highest form of sensibility. A traitor means a real man. The barman flinches barely noticeably, but otherwise doesn't give himself away. With a nonchalant look, he picks a glass from the bar counter and examines it for stains and answers, but it's better to die a traitor than to live a slave. Having said that, he gestures to a short lad who's running to and fro in the bar hall. Kosha, stay in charge here. My friend came to see me. We need to talk. And you? Follow me. That's right, Chief. Fidel cautiously peeps behind the red draping and distrustfully looks around the bar. Finally, having made sure that none of the visitors are behaving too suspiciously, he turns to you with his hand outstretched for a handshake. The coast is clear, amigo. Nobody's eavesdropping on us. Gives you a firm handshake. As I've already told you, you can call me Fidel. Who do I have the honor to be talking to? Good day, Fidel. My name is... I'm going to tell him, seeing this is my group. Fidel's always listening to you attentively. His watchful stare slides down your figure. Apparently the agent in place is studying your ways. Oh, my ass. Igor. The man looks you in the eye slowly and nods. Yes, you're telling the truth. Well, Igor, I understand that you came from the lost exposition of General Morozov. I'm afraid I have to disappoint you myself, as I know nothing about it. Although you, perhaps, have already managed to find something out. Tell me everything I managed to find out. Fidel's listening to you attentively. He doesn't interrupt you, nor inserts his comments. When you're finished, he pensively takes off his headpiece and runs the palm of his hand down his bald scalp. It's clear that nothing's clear. What can you tell me about this trinket? Ah, yeah, I'm glad I got one now. Show the mysterious charm you found on the dead body of one of the murdered expedition members. Fidel examines the mysterious charm with interest, and finally smokes with surprise. That's strange. I expected to see something more puzzling. What do you mean? Tell me how you know. This is a local craftsmanship. Very strange, but do you know who wears such charms around here? One cult that has its own buildings in the city. The Mushroom Cult. Now that was a perfect lightning strike. What do you know about them? This is a New Age religion. They call themselves philosophical movement, scientific and educational organization, a charity, and other nice words. But in reality, they're a simple gimmick of a cult, esoteric, and syncretic type. A cult, in short. The Mushroom Cult has its sort of center in Krasnoznamonye, in the building of an old research institute. I'd never regarded them as a possible threat, just because they look like complete idiots. However, they clearly have money. A mushroom cult? Did they call themselves after the nuclear mushroom or the regular one? Assuming from the look of the talisman, I've seen the nuclear one. No idea. The logo looks like a mushroom, but which one? It's a tricky question. Although I'm sure if I asked about it, they'd tell there's some symbolism to it. And what do you know about them? This is like a New Age religion. They call themselves philosophical blah blah blah. Oops, Yep. Curious, what should we do now? We need to gather more information. Their propagandist is walking around the suburb of Krasnoznamonye. We could go see him, or we could, for example, contact a source I know. He's most probably resting in a casino, or in an old barge. It's in the city centre, although he does charge a lot for this information. So much to do. Alright, we need to examine this issue thoroughly and figure out what's going on, whilst also getting in our characters and running errands for the locals. The main thing to avoid is raising their suspicions. Wait, do you say we? Fidel makes a theatrical gesture with his hand. I'm going to come with you, amigo. Together, we have a much bigger chance of finding things out. Besides, I'm sick of this work. I'm a man of action, an adventure seeker. Here, I'm tied down to some spying activity, to some bar. Who's go look out to the premises? Fidel waves his hand. My student, Kosha. He's a bit of a scaredy cat, but he's got a good head and shoulders. He won't lose the bar. Right, Fidel, let's hit the road then. Perfecto. Let me get my belongings. Right. Get as much stuff as you can. And with that, Igor made his first permanent friend in an otherwise unforgiving apocalypse.